So this is the second part of Pilates level 2. So moving on from our mobility, we're now going to start with our workout, and we're going to start with the tightrope stance, okay? So standing, I'm just going to take a side view so you can see what I'm doing. Standing with your right foot in front of your left. Now remember with this, we can change our footing. I know I'm cheating and I've got my hand on the wall here, but basically we can have the foot just in front of the other. If we find this uncomfortable, we can take a little bit of space between the 2 points. That's going to give us more stability. If we need to, we can also take it slightly to the side, okay? One of the most important things to look out for when we're doing this exercise is that as you look down, make sure your feet are facing forward. Now, if you've naturally got a turn out in your feet, so like your knees naturally turn out, your feet are naturally going to turn out, that's fine. But what we want to be checking, especially at the back, is that that back foot's not really turned out to the side. They want to be facing us forward as best as they can, okay? So, our tailbone's tucked under, our pelvic floor is engaged, our abdominal belt is engaged, our shoulder blades are back and down. God, I feel like I'm going to lose my balance straight away on this one. Okay, hands can either be like across the chest, or we can have them out to the side, or if we really want to challenge, I'm just changing my direction again so you can see what I'm doing with one. If I really wanted to challenge my balance, which obviously I clearly have none today, as you can see, you could take your arms up like so, and that's going to make your leverage bigger and that's going to challenge your balance more, okay? So let us begin. I'm going to go for my hands across my chest. I'm going to have a little bit of softness in my knees, just as if someone's tickling the back of my knees. My core is engaged. I have no balance today. Take a deep breath. And as I come forward, I'm hinging at my hips. I'm bending into the front knee more than the back knee, but there is a little bit of bend in that back knee. Feeling it into the front of my thighs. I breathe out as I'm holding it here, and then I bring it back. So I breathe in, breathe out. Hold for a few moments, breathe in. I've got no. I mean, this is to. I'm still obviously. I'm 3 weeks today since I broke my toe, so I'm kind of not putting my weight properly into my right foot. So that is why I am absolutely shocking at this today. So that's my excuse anyway. And I'm sticking to it. So nice and steady, using our breath all the time. We've got that stability. Now, when we're doing this exercise, this is all about hip stability, okay? So we want to have hip stability. The other thing is as well, as you can see, it's working our balance. Now, as we get older in life, working on our balance is absolutely essential to help us move through life. Sorry, I'm laughing because I feel like I'm going to fall over. So last one, let's hold it forward. Hold it here. Core engaged, nice and strong, working into that front thigh, feeling the work, nice and steady. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, come back and relax. Bring your feet hip distance apart and sassy walk it out. Crikey, I'm sorry, I feel like this is going to be a long session just because my brain's not in function. So I filmed the mobility the other day, you'll notice a top change. And I meant to do it yesterday, but I had a really bad migraine, so I'm a couple of days since I did the video. In fact, possibly it was Monday, so I think my brain's a bit dead since then. And relax. Now we need to do the other side, okay? So I'm turning around, you don't have to, I'm just going to do the other side. So bringing the foot to the front, again, we can have the feet together, we can have a little bit of space, we can have it slightly out to the side. Check those feet are facing forward, tailbone's tucked under, core's engaged, hands across the chest, out by the sides, or we can have them up to really challenge our balance. Nice and steady. Let's bend, hinging into the hips. There's a slight bend in that back knee. You can feel it in that front thigh. And then bringing it back. So nice and steady. So breathing in. And as you get to the front and we hold for a moment, we breathe out. Taking our time, keep going. That's obviously my bad foot and I'm completely struggling, so I want you to keep going with that. I will try and do it with you. So nice and steady. Gosh, I can't put any weight because it's like the second to last toe. I can't put any weight into the outside of my foot. It's getting better, but still not quite there, and I'm very conscious of like not making it worse before it gets better. My husband accidentally put his hand on my foot last night to push himself off the sofa and did cause me some pain. He said it was my own fault for putting it on the sofa. Oh, men, husbands. So nice and steady. Let's have 2 more of these. So controlled, without falling over like me. And last one, hold it here. Let's hold it. We've got that pelvic abdominal connection going on, so we've got like that postural integrity. We're feeling the work into the front of the thigh. That back knee is slightly bent. Hinges happening at the hips. Take a deep breath. Exhale, slowly come back and release. We're going to go into monkey squats. So I'm staying on this side angle, feet hip distance apart. Remember, we can take our thumb and little finger and take it over so that the little toes just sit in between those 2 points. Tailbone under, shoulder blades back and down. Let us just come down nice and slow. Now, if you've got no shoulder issues, bring your arms up, but if you have, don't worry about it. So nice and steady. So we're coming down. Controlled, slow and steady, and you want to be breathing in as you're coming down and breathing out as you're coming up. And now look down, check you can see those toes. So I think I've probably mentioned in a few videos, if you've seen a few videos with me, you know, if you've got a mirror that you can have whilst you're doing your workout, I know you're obviously going to be watching the screen, but if you can put a mirror somewhere near, preferably one that's, you know, a little bit bigger than a compact, so you can see your form, then it's really useful. So nice and steady. Let's have 2 more of these, nice and slow, controlled, taking our time. And last one. And then bring it up. Now what I want you to do this time is I want you to take it down. I'm just going to hold it at the bottom, but I want you to take your hands and place them across your chest. So monkey squat again, but we're just taking it down. I'm going to hold it at the bottom, okay? So inhale, exhale. Let's have a pulse here just for 8 and 7. I'm just changing my 6 and 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Hold. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, come up. Nice and steady. Shoulder blades back and down. Let us now bring your feet together. We're going to work on our balance. So you should be worried because I'm probably going to fall over into that guitar or chair or something in a second, but we're going to do something nice and simple. Okay, so bring your hands to your hips. Remember, we've got our feet together, but if you need them slightly apart, that's fine. So hands to the hips, bring the index fingers across. We want them to meet so that they're level in the middle. Remember, we can adjust if we need to. If you've got that diagnosis, you know you go 1 hip higher, then don't worry about it. Shoulders are level. Keep the hands on the hips. Shoulder blades are back and down. We're putting them in our back pockets. All we're going to do is lift 1 leg. So we could keep the toe on the floor because this is about holding the balance, okay? So it's not about repetitions with this. We're just going to hold the balance position. So as we're holding that balance, we want to be keeping the hips level, the shoulders level. So we can keep the big toe on the floor or lift it 1 inch, or you can bring the knee up to hip height. But we've got to try and keep everything level, and we're just holding it here. Now we can bring our hands down by the side, or we can bring them out. That's going to help with our balance a little bit. Or if you want to make it more challenging, we can have them above. So stay there for me. I'm going to have my hands down my side. I feel like I've got a big enough challenge going on with my body at the moment as it is. So I'm just holding and I'm breathing. This knee is locked out on the supporting side. There's a little bit of softness in the back of the knee, but it's like just that point just before you lock out. And we can push our tongue to the roof of the mouth to help with our balance. If you've got your toothbrush handy, brush your teeth while you're doing the balance, always helps. So nice and steady. I can see I'm leaning to one side. I can see as I'm filming, I'm leaning to one side. So I'm having to correct myself. So that's, again, using a mirror is a really useful tool. Take a deep breath, bring it down. So easy peelers, feet together, hands on the hips, lift into the toes, nice and steady. So feet together. Remember, if there's a little bit of space, that's fine. Hands on the hips, let's check their level. My bow's getting in the way today. So check their level, bring it back. Shoulder blades back and down. Opposite leg's going to come up into position. Now we can rest on the big toe on the floor. That's still challenging your balance, or lift an inch or hip height. I'm going to just stay with my big toe on the floor because this is my bad foot. So we just hold it there, keeping everything level. Remember, if we can keep our hands on our hips, we can have our out down by our sides, out, or up above to challenge the balance even more. So just stay where it feels right for you. I'm going to bring mine to my hips. So nice and steady, keeping it balanced. So it's easy to tilt into one side. I know I've definitely been favouring my left side more than my right recently because of my toe. And I can feel like all the time I'm like, oh, tilting on one side and it's not good. It's not good. 3 more weeks and then hopefully back to normal. So nice and steady. Holding it there, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then very gently bring it down. Bring it down and relax. Okay, so if you have a band or some dumbbells or a can of beans or whatever, you know, soup, whatever, water bottles, you can use that for the next exercise. I'm going to do it without, but you can do it with if you so wish. So if you are using a band, well, regardless of when you're using a band or any equipment, the feet want to be hip distance apart. So take your thumb over and your little toe, check those little toes sitting between those 2 points. Tailbone is in and shoulders relaxed. If you had a band, you'd have it under your feet and you'd have it to your side. We're working the shoulders. So the shoulders, sometimes you don't want a particularly hard band, I would say. So nice and steady. We're just going to come up to shoulder height and then bring it down. And we're going to inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And all the time we've got this postural integrity going on. So when I say postural integrity, I just turn to the side. Now I can't obviously, I just lift one arm. But my tailbone's tucked, my core is strong, my abdominals are nice and tight. I've got that juicy beef tomato under my chin. Nice and steady. So let's just have 3 more. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. On this last one, I want you to just hold it up for me. Now nice and strong, tailbone under. Take it down. This time, let's bring them to the front. So inhale just to shoulder height and down. So inhale, exhale. So nice and steady. Again, shoulders relaxed. We're not going any higher than the shoulders. If you're not using weights or water bottles or cans or anything like that, then just make sure that those wrists and forearms are staying in alignment and that you've got a nice straight line as you come out. If you are holding something, you still want to have that wrist and forearm in alignment, but your hands, obviously your knuckles are going to be bent as they grip whatever item you're holding. So 3 more. Last 2. And last 1. And relax. Very gently turn your palms facing forward, elbows in nice and tight to your side. I'm just rotating to the side. So this time, so we've worked the shoulders, different parts of the shoulders. So your shoulders split into 3 different muscle groups, okay? So we've worked a little bit. 2 of the groups, not all of them. So, well, all of them, but not specifically in one area, if that makes sense. So this time, all we're going to do is going to curl the arm up towards the chest and then bring it down. So if I was holding weights, I'd be making sure my wrists and forearms were in alignment. And if I'm not holding weights, then I'm just bringing the hands up, elbows are in nice and tight. You know, what you can do is contract your bicep muscle. So you actually squeeze your muscle before you do the motions. Contract and slow it right down. We don't need to really use equipment. We can use our own body weight. So if you contract those muscles, those biceps, as you're bringing them up, you're certainly going to feel a difference. So you start, just as you get to here, contract, feel the squeeze. You're squeezing the muscle. I hope I'm making sense. Let me know if you watch this and you're like, Tara, I just did not get what you meant. That's absolutely fine. I'll try and do it in a more constructive way for you. So let's squeeze in and back. And I'm finding that's working my biceps. I don't need a band, I don't need dumbbells. I can feel my bicep working. So 4 more, I'm inhaling, I'm exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. 2 more. And last one. And I'm going to hold it here. So I'm going to hold that contraction so those muscles are squeezed nice and tight, those biceps are nice and tight. And then I'm going to bring it down and shake it out. Okay, one more upper body exercise. So this time, keeping the feet hip distance apart, hands are in front. I want you to bring it so like your thumbs are just touching. So if you was holding a can of beans, they'd just like the heads would just be touching. If you're holding the band, you'd probably want to cross over at this point, and again, hands come together. Let me roll up my wrists on this one a little bit so you can see. So it would be like this, okay? So nice and steady. If we haven't got band, we can have our hands just like so, thumbs together, and we're going to lift up into a V shape either side of the ears and then push down. So this is an upright row. So I'm lifting, inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling, sorry, bird keeps flying by the window. Nice and steady, controlled. Using your breath. Exhaling. I feel like my biceps still hurting from that contraction. So nice and steady. So upright row is nice because it's working our shoulders, working the traps at the top of the shoulders, sort of like along here and so forth. Nice and steady. 4 more. I started with this one. This is a really nice exercise to give you that roundness along the shoulders if you're wanting that roundness around your shoulders. Last 2, and let's hold this last one up. Hold it there. Just for 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Shake it out. I want you to take your hands together, pull your chin away, drop your chin down, and just hold it there for a moment. So the head's just looking down, just stretching out, pulling the shoulder blades away from one another as best as we can. And then slowly bringing it down. Very gently taking the hands into the base of the spine, draw your elbows together, chest open, just have a nice little stretch there. And whilst you're just stretching that, I'm just going to take a cheeky moment to just have a sip of my drink. And then very gently, just relax, shake it out. Come to the end of your mat. With the mat with the length in front of you, we're going to go down onto all 4s. So feet hip distance apart. Let's inhale up, bend the knees, monkey squat, push your bottom behind you, walk your hands down, come down onto all 4s. Hands beneath the shoulders, knees beneath the hips. We want a nice 90-degree angle. We're tucking the tailbone towards the back of the room, and we're drawing our shoulder blades slightly together. So eyes and nose are looking down to the floor. They're not looking under, they're not looking in front, we're looking down. We've got that postural integrity going on. So we've got that connection going on in the pelvic floor and the abdominals. And we're nice and strong. We're holding it there. And what I want you to do is very gently, so imagine you've got a tray of drinks on your back, okay? And then we're just tucking the tailbone under towards the floor and then lifting the tailbone up towards the ceiling. So this is the lumbar part of the spine that's moving, so the lower back that's moving, the thoracic, the cervical, that's all staying still. Maybe a little bit of movement, but there shouldn't be much because we want that movement just at the base of the spine. So inhaling and exhaling. Inhale as you tuck under, exhale as you bring it back. Nice and steady. Let's have 2 more. And last one. Stabilise, take your knees as wide as your mat. Big toes come together. Remember, I'm going to take my foot on top of my ankle just so I don't put any pressure into my foot. and we gently bring the bum back into shell stretch. Now remember, if shell stretch is uncomfortable, head's resting between the arms, make sure it doesn't flop. If it feels like it's flopping, grab a cushion or a book, a hardback book or your block, and rest your head there. If shell is too much for the hips and knees are facing forward, we can have our toes tucked under, reach your arms forward and push your bum up into the air. Or you can always push your bum back, and again we could take a cushion between the bum and the heels. So holding that position, nice and strong, tucking that tailbone under, holding it there. And I want you to just very gently, as you're tucking that tailbone under, so we're getting a nice stretch into the glutes, into the lower back, the rectus spinae. Ooh. We can just turn the palms over, the forearms over, and we can just roll our wrists a little. I'm going to lift my head to do it for me. Roll the wrists a little and then roll them back. Sorry, I'm flashing flash. So nice and steady, just roll them one way, roll them the other, and then release. Very gently come back onto all fours. So again, we want that nice 90-degree angle. So we want our hands beneath the shoulders, elbows soft, knees, try not to keep my flash keeps popping out at the back there. So knees are hip distance, shoelaces to the floor, elbows soft, tailbone to the back of the room, eyes and nose looking down, shoulder blades joined slightly together. All we're going to do is a nice and easy extension of the alternate arm and leg. Now, we extend, keeping everything level. Now, I'm going to tuck my toes under because I've got less balance with my foot, but you can keep the shoelaces. We're going to extend it out, and then what I want you to do with control is pull it in. We're not taking it down. I said alternative, I was lying. We're just doing the same side. Draw it in, make yourself small, and then level it out like a table. So regardless of where you are, whether you're extended here or you're small, you've still got that tray of drinks on your back. Keep going for me. I just want to talk you through this a little bit. So as you're extending out, remember that arm and leg want to be the same length. We've got neutral spine. We're just a perfect level. Shoulders are level, hips are level. As you bring yourself in, you make yourself small, you bring the arm and knee in, but that back is still strong and stable. There may be a little bit of tucking in the lower back, but that tray is resting sort of like between, I would say, the top of the cervical plane, so just the base of the skull, I think it's the atlas if I remember rightly, and just at sort of like the base of the ribs. That's where your tray is. So you're keeping that firmly in place as you go, just on that one side, supporting side, elbow soft, pull in and out, pull in and out. So let's have two more. Last one. I've got a nice knee crack going on here, and hold for a moment, bring it down, take it back to shell, knees wide, big toes together. I'm crossing my feet, remember, just because of my toe, and then I bring it back and relax. Remember, if this is difficult on the hips or knees, we can come into child's pose or puppy pose where you've got the bum up in the air, knees facing forward. We can rest the head on a cushion or a block and hold it there. Now I know it's tough on the wrists, we're going to do that on the other side yet. So nice and steady, breathing deep in through the nose, out through the mouth. Just enjoying that stretch for a moment, feeling it in the lower back, so just along here, feeling it in the glutes underneath as you're tucking that tailbone under. Let us gently lift the head, rotate the forearms over, and just take the hands into a fist. And as you take them into a fist, roll the fist in, and then release out. Roll in, roll out, roll in, roll out, roll in, excuse me, and out. Nice and steady. Oh, I do apologise. So, coming onto all fours, final time. Nice and steady. So, shoelaces to the floor, hands beneath the shoulders, tailbone to the back of the room, elbows soft, shoulder blades joined slightly together, this time opposite arm and leg. So we take them out, I've got my chair in the way, and then I pull them in. Take them out, pull them in. Breathing in, breathing out. breathing in. Keep going for me. So all the time, keeping the hips level, keeping the shoulders level. You may find that your body wants to tilt to one side, and if it's doing that, that means we need to make our range of movement smaller, okay? So remember, it's not about how high you get or how many repetitions you get in Pilates. It's about your form and technique. That's what gets us results. So last two. The last one, hold it out. Hold it there. And very gently relax, bring it down. Come over onto your bottom for a moment. Let's just again stretch out a little bit into the forearms and the wrists. So let's just press the hand down. So the hand's just palms facing the body. Press. And then very gently the other way. So hands, fingers on the fingers. Push back into the wrist. Hold it there. Nice and steady. And then again, other side, so palms facing the body, thumbs out to the side. Excuse me, I've set myself off now. And then other side. And then relax, roll the wrists, roll the wrists. Nice and easy. Okay, we're going to come down onto our front now. So you can have your cushion if you so wish to rest your forehead on. I'm just going to move these off my mat. So I've got my little crystals and so forth on my mat. So nice and steady, coming down onto your front, and make sure you come down in a way that is comfortable and right for you. We are just going to rest with the hands either side, across a little bit. So arms at 90 degrees either side of the shoulders. So elbows are either side of the shoulders. They may be a little bit below, that's all right, that's fine. Shoelaces to the floor. I'm going to just tuck my right toe because it's just uncomfortable to have my shoelaces down, but generally shoelaces to the floor. All we're going to do, nice and easy, is we're going to come up into baby cobra just 5 times. So we're going to take a deep breath in together. As we exhale, lift. And then bring it down, exhaling as you come down. And again, lift. And bringing it down. Now, this time, if we wish, as we lift, we can begin to extend the arms and come a little bit higher if we wish. But if it's uncomfortable, you just stay on those forearms and then bring it down. Now, as you come down, your arms are going to extend out. We've got 2 more of these. Take a deep breath. Slide them back. Exhale, lift. Looking forward, but as we look forward, we're not pushing the head onto the back of the neck, onto the back of the shoulders. We're looking forward as if we've still got that tomato under our chin. Bring it down. Last time. Draw those arms back. And this time, inhale, lift. Very gently, bring it down, bring it down. Elbows come by the side of the head. Shoelaces to the floor. So again, just ignore this foot doing what it's not supposed to be doing. So feet hip distance apart, nice and steady. This time, all we're going to do is we're going to lift the head, shoulder blades draw together into that V shape, pull them back and down. So we breathe in, out, back and down. Breathe in, out, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. So it's up, V, release and down. Up, V, release and down. Keep going with that for me. So nice and steady. So it's up, V, release and down. Up, V, release and down. 2 more. Up, V, release and down. Last one. Up, V, release and down. Relax there for a moment. Let your head just turn in one direction. Just let it enjoy that stretch just there for a moment, just into the cervical plane. You may want to take your cushion away and just let your head rest on the side. It's completely up to you. Just have your moment there. And then very gently let the head turn to the other side. And we're going to roll onto our side now and do our side leg series. So very gently, you have two options here. So rolling onto your side, we can take our cushion and we can also take, sorry, I can't move quietly, can I? You know I'm the same in the studio, so nice and steady. We can take, sorry, cut the dog's hair the other day and it just seems to be like everywhere I go I seem to be covered in it still. Not in this clothing obviously, but it just seems to be everywhere. So we have two options. So we can lie with the arm extended, cushion and head like so. Or if we've got any shoulder issues, we'll take our cushion, take our hard book or our block, place the head on top and lay with the arms like so. Okay, so we're starting in cobbler. So I want you to make sure that your legs are at 90 degrees. So we want those knees in alignment with the hips, okay? And we want the ankles just below and then just slightly behind the knees. They're all stacked. Make sure that that top knee is level with the left. Now place your hand on your hip because this is a good way to gauge. So we want our hips, so I need to adjust a little bit. So we want our hips, so those stacked on top of one another. So when we pull it back, so we've got that stack, the knee on top is going to come a little bit further back. So we want to try and bring it the same. And we can do that by keeping the hips level, but it's all about adjustment and just taking your time with it. Feet together, lift your feet up so they're then higher than your knees if you can. Take a mental picture where they are, so we know where they are. We want to keep them in that place. Hand can be on the hip. You might want to spread your fingers out and place it on the floor to give you extra support. You might want to put it up here to give extra challenge. All we're going to do is open the knees, keeping our feet together, keeping the hips stacked, shoulder stacked, ankle stacked, knees stacked, and then down. So as you bring the knee back to its stacking position, it should be coming down where it's lifted from. And the key is keeping an eye on the feet, because it's very easy as we do this for the feet to start dropping down. You see then how my feet dropped? So it's very easy to be doing. So I want to be feeling this into the piriformis. You might be feeling it on the side that's underneath as opposed to the top one. So nice and steady. So activating the glutes. Just for 4, nice and steady, and 3, and 2, not liking this today, and last one, hold it open, hold it here, my bottom is in, hello, I don't know why I did that stupid voice, so I apologise. Oh, I've obviously lost it today. Take a deep breath. Exhale, bring the knee down. Bring the legs down. Give it a pat. That was a bit mean, wasn't it? Now, very gently straighten both legs out. So I'm coming a little bit further forward on my mat, as you'll probably notice, because we're going to do some slicing. So, again, arm can be underneath, or we can have one hand in front of support on the hip, along the leg, more challenging. So I'm going to keep mine in front. The important thing with this exercise is to make sure you don't rock the pelvis forward or rock it back. Excuse me, it's more likely that you're going to rock forward. So we want to be keeping the hips stacked and we want to be on that hip bone. So nice and steady, core controlled. I want you to imagine someone's got a hold of this foot that's up in the air and they're pulling it away. And as they pull that away, you bring it down and you've got that space. We're literally talking as if we could just slip a stamp under there. So it's not a big space at all. And all we're going to do is lift both legs up and then slice 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And core is activated and engaged. Nice and steady. Breathing in and out. Coming across the midline of the body, keeping the hips nice and stable, control just for 4, and 3, and 2, and 1, and hold, and hold, bring it back, down, bend both knees, relax and roll over onto your backs for me. So At this point, we're doing imprints to begin with, so you could have a cushion underneath your head. Remember, when we come to bridge, we don't want a cushion. So sorry, I'm just doing my leggings adjustment. So hands by the side of the bottom, eyes looking up to the ceiling, making sure that you're not looking behind. If you're looking behind, nod the chin slightly. If you're looking in front, lift the chin, okay? That's going to give that adjustment. So feet hip distance apart. If you're not sure whether they are, bring them together, knees and feet together. Turn your feet out to the corners of the room like a penguin. Heels turn out, you've got your hip distance. Hands just resting by the side. Okay, I want you to take them into a triangular shape. So index fingers come together, thumbs come together. Place them just onto, so the fingers are just on the pubic bone and the thumbs just below the navel, so we can feel the pelvic floor activated and the core working as we go through this movement. So all we're going to do is lift the tailbone up towards the ceiling, and that's going to imprint the lower back. So the lower back, a little bit of the bottom is going to imprint into the mat, then the mid back, then the upper back. Then very gently release the upper back, release the mid back, release the lower back. So nice and steady, we're rocking, imprinting. As we imprint, that whole spine is on the mat, there is no space, and we bring it back. And I know I bang on about imprints all the time, what a great simple exercise they are, but they really are. They make such a difference when you have a lower backache. It's just such a nice exercise to do. So nice and steady, just rocking it back and forth. Last two for me. And last one. And relax. Let the hands come down by the side. We're going to stretch into our hamstrings before we move into our bridge. So take up one leg and take a hold of the back of the thigh. If you've got a band or a strap, you can use that to go around the foot and use that to pull it closer to the body. You could just hold the back of the leg. What we're aiming for is to keep that leg as straight as possible. You can even, I find these are quite a thick pair of leggings. So if I just grab them and pull them a little bit, I feel like that's fine for me. I'm getting that stretch into my hamstrings. So if you've got no sciatica issues, we flex the heel, push it up to the ceiling, and that's going to get a little bit more. If we've got sciatica issues, we're just going to let the foot be normal, okay? So nice and steady. And if you've got active sciatica going on, just hug the knee. Don't even do a hamstring stretch because it's just going to antagonize. And when I say active sciatica, it's causing you pain constantly or regularly at the moment. If it's not active, so I suffer with sciatica, but it's not active at the moment, but I'm still not going to flex my foot because I know that might be, I can do a hamstring, but I'm not going to flex my foot because I know that might antagonize it. Take a deep breath, draw a little bit closer, and then bend in, release it down. Now let's bring up the other leg, same again. We can hold, we can take a strap or, a bathrobe, or even a normal leather belt, for instance, or whatever type of belt you've got. Hold the back of the thighs or grab your leggings, straighten that leg out. If you can flex towards the ceiling, go for it. If not, don't worry, just keep it relaxed. Take a deep breath, come closer, hold it. And again, draw closer, keeping that leg as straight as you can. So you're feeling that nice stretch into the back of the hamstrings. Most of us have tight hamstrings. And then very gently bend and relax. Feet back to hip distance, hands by the side, ready for our pelvic bridge. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it up into a pelvic bridge and we're just going to hold that pelvic bridge today, okay? So hands by the side of the bottom. Take a moment, check that your eyes are looking straight up, they're not looking behind, they're not looking in front, we're just looking straight up. Core is strong. Imprint the lower back, tucking the tailbone up towards the ceiling. Begin, as you imprint the lower back, we begin to lift sequentially one bit at a time. We want the knees, the hips, the shoulders in a nice diagonal line. Bring your hands to your ribs. Check they're not splaying up. If they're splaying up, lower that bridge a little bit. Once you've checked and they're okay, hands come down by your side. Core is strong and stable, and we are just holding our pelvic bridge. Now, if at any point this gets tiring or tough, you just come down, you can come back to imprints. If bridge feels too much, just stick with imprints, that's absolutely fine. So we're just holding our bridge. And bridge is really working so many different areas because we're activating so many different muscle groups as we perform this exercise. Now let's take a deep breath. Let's begin to bring the upper back down. Then we bring the mid back down and the lower back down. And then very gently, just give me a few little rocks of the pelvis. So just like we do when we're rocking that pelvis back and forth at the beginning when we're on our feet, or sometimes even when you're on a floor. So just rocking that pelvis, just easing the lower back a little bit, because bridge is brilliant for strengthening the back. But when we hold like we've just done, that's a little bit tougher than lifting up and down, because we're activating those muscles and we're getting them to stay activated whilst we're in that position. So walk your feet together, knees together, gently let's rock them side to side, nice and steady. Gently rolling side to side. And can we just have an inner thigh stretch? So take the soles of the feet together, knees open up. I'm just going to move out slightly away from the wall so I can do this stretch. So just open up, and remember you can always take your hands to the inside of your thighs and hold it there for me. So nice and strong. And remember, if we want, we can rub. It's going to bring some warmth into the muscle. That's going to help stretch the muscle out, bring a little bit more suppleness in there maybe. You can just let your hands relax by your side, just enjoy that stretch for a moment, or just enjoy being still in that stretch for a moment. I'm waffling today, so I apologise. So nice and steady. Very gently draw your knees back up to the centre. Feet hip distance apart. Okay. Eyes are looking up to the ceiling. We're going to do the 100, okay? Now, we've got different options here. So if you have any neck issues going on, I want you to keep your head on the floor. So I will show you the exercise and then I'll talk you through how we could do it. So core is engaged, pelvic floor is engaged. We've got that natural space in the back. We lift the head, we look down the body, we lift the arms about 1 inch to 2 inches off the floor, and then we begin to bounce the arms nice and steady. Now, if that feels too much on the neck, and it can do, we've got different options. We can keep our head down and just do our arms. It does change the exercise a little bit, but that's fine. Got to do what's right for the body. Or we can take one hand, place it behind. I'm going to just sit upright for a moment actually. We can place it behind and never come up like that. That was really bad. So you can place it behind, hands splayed. That's going to give you extra bit of support. At no point should you be pulling or lifting the head up. So that hand position there can give you extra support in that move, but it shouldn't be. And again, don't follow my technique of getting up and down there. Just totally went naughty, should have rolled onto my side, so I apologise. So, nice and steady, pelvic floor engaged, abdominal belt engaged. Either with the head or without the head, lift the arms 1 to 2 inches off the floor. Gently come up, look down the body if you're going for that head lift, and we breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Nice and steady, so control. And remember, we can have one hand behind, offering that support, or if that feels too much, heads down. We're up to about 25. And just do it with the head down, that's absolutely fine. So nice and strong. So this is really one of the traditional moves from yoga. When we are in this position, so keep going, I am counting loosely. As you're looking down your body, what we want to be making sure is that the tummy's not doming. So it's not getting like a dome shape, okay? When it starts to get a dome shape, that means we're strengthening the muscles into that position, and we certainly do not want to be doing that. So we need to make our range smaller. Now, as you're doing this exercise, like my tummy comes up slightly, but that's just from eating too much cake and chocolate. If it was doming, it'd be coming right up like that, and it's not doing that, so that's okay. But if I was coming up here, it's doming more, that's going to be unsafe. And it's also, you want it so that when you're up, you know, your head's off the floor, your neck's off the floor, your shoulder blades should be still on the floor, okay? So keep going. I'm getting neck strain from talking too much. So just for 10, you might have done less or more, I'm not sure. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Gently roll your head to one side and let it relax there for a moment. Gently roll to the other side, let it relax there for a moment. And then very gently come back to the center. Roll onto your side. We are going to do the opposite leg series, okay? So, if you know what you're doing, you don't have to be facing this way. So you want your cushion, or you may want your block or your hardback book and cushion. So remember, you can have the arm long, but if you've got shoulder issues, it's nice to just rest the head on the block and cushion and have the shoulders stacked on top of one another, one arm in front. So we're starting with that cobbler position. So remember, the knees are out in front, and we want our knees stacked together, one hand on the front, hip long, up. Those are your options. I'm going to bring my hand to my hip just for this alignment movement. So I want to have my knees in alignment, but I don't want my knee to be dropping, I don't want my hips to be dropping forward. So it's really important that you just adjust. It's nice to have your hand on your hip, because you're going to feel where your hips are as you go through that adjustment. And we want to get it right. So there, I know they're stacked, but I know they're now level as well. My ankles are on top of one another, and they're just fractionally behind my knees, like fractionally. Now I'm going to lift my feet up. They're higher than my knee. Taking a snapshot there, remembering where they are, opening and closing. And when I close, I'm bringing them down exactly where I started. So I'm inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, inhaling, inhaling. Last two. Last one. In fact, I'm lying. Hold it up. Forgot there for a moment. I'll hold it, hold it, hold it. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I'm sure my feet just dropped a little bit then for 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Oh, ouchie, ouchie. Okay, very gently, let's straighten the legs out, and we're going for that slicing. So again, I'm just moving slightly forward on my mat, so I've got the wall behind me. Again, I want my shoulders, my hips, my knees, ankles all to be stacked. Remember, it's very easy in this position for the hip to roll forward. We want to pull it back. So hand can be either on the hip, rest on the floor, along the leg, or up higher to make it more challenging. I like mine to be either on my hip or on the floor. Hand on the floor gives me stability, hand on the hip just allows me to keep that control, be conscious that I'm not rocking forward. So feet are on top of one another. Imagine this top leg, someone is just pulling it away, making it longer. We get that tiny, tiny, tiny bit of hollow in underneath. We lift both feet together. Once we've lifted both, we slice open and back. Slice open and back. And I'm pelvically engaged, I'm abdominally connected, I've got that postural integrity going on as I go through the movement. I'm breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. steady. Last two. Last one. Hold it here. And change over, hold it, just for 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax, bend. Check they're okay. We're going to roll onto our front for our final exercise. You'll either be happy or sad to hear. So nice and steady. You don't need to have your block, but you can use your block or your cushion. I'm going to stick with my cushion, but I don't even really need that. To be fair, I could just rest my head on the front of my hands. In fact, I'm going to do that instead of using my cushion. So feet, I want your feet as wide as your mat. You know, I pretty much always add this because I do still love it. So legs as wide as your mat. All we're going to do, hips facing into the floor, core nice and strong. Let's squeeze those glutes together. You're clenching that 50-pound note, if only, eh? And very gently relax. So squeeze and relax. So squeeze and relax. And now as we squeeze, those ankles, the knees, the thighs, they're going to rotate in. That's okay. The feet are going to go from kind of being like in a shoelaces position to turned out like Mary Poppins or like a penguin, okay? So nice and steady. And if we are rotating in, we're squeezing, we're breathing in, breathing out as you rotate out. Last one, and I want you to just hold it this time. So really hold that 50-pound note. Squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it. Hold it there. Nice and strong. Core engaged. Pelvic floor engaged. And release. Nice and steady. Draw up one foot towards the bottom. Taking a hold of either the leggings, the foot, the sock. If you've got a strap or a circle, you could be using that. Hips are tilting into the mat. We're just gently drawing it towards, drawing the leg, the foot towards bottom. Doesn't matter if it's not there. The important thing is we're getting that stretch into the front of the thigh, into the quadriceps, and just hold it there for me. Hold it there. Breathing nice and deep. And then let's change over, other side. Oh, sorry. Oh, nice and strong. Hips tilting into the floor. I'm only human. Certainly not perfect. Nice and strong. And I've definitely, since breaking my toe, been doing less and eating too much cake, so I feel like a sloth. And I've never felt so tired in my life. Well, maybe in the severe sleep deprivation years with my child when I was breastfeeding, but oh, it's tiring being at home all the time. So nice and steady, I'm waffling, and relax. Hands by the side of the chest, roll on, one forearm comes down, roll to your side, bend the knees, push up. Good practice for if we have a fall, hopefully not, but just in case. Come over onto your knees, toes tucked under, standing nice, well, kneeling nice and tall. Swing your arms, bring that heart rate back up for me. And then relax. Take a moment. Is everything, have you got that postural integrity in place? Okay, and when I say postural integrity, that is your pelvic floor, that the abdominal connection going on. Can we bring our weaker leg forward? So whichever leg that is, bring it forward. Hands by the side. I'm actually going to go with you this week, see how I go. So you can have your toes tucked under. That's going to give you assistance in it. If you've got your shoelaces to the floor, it's going to make it more challenging. So it's totally your call. So remember, if this is not a comfortable way for you to get up, then please just get up in a way that is comfortable and right for you, okay, and safely. So let's inhale, lift, step together, relax. Feet hip distance apart, let's roll. And down. 2 more. And last one. Let's give it a little shake. Tailbone under, posture integrity, peach under your chin, shoulder blades in your back pocket, and stay there. Okay, keep safe everyone, keep sane. I think I'm losing it today. And yeah, hope you enjoyed that. Thank you. Bye bye.